Emotional intelligence. Now, first of all, as we talk about emotional intelligence, what emotional intelligence means? What emotional intelligence means? Now, understand this thing. Emotional intelligence happens to be a phenomena. Okay, emotional intelligence happens to be a phenomena which operates at two levels. Okay, see, when it comes to the emotional intelligence, before understanding this thing, we will take one quotation from Aristotle. Aristotle said, "It is easy to be angry, but how to be angry, when to be angry, in what capacity one should be angry, for what one should not be angry. Okay, in what way one should show the anger. It is not in everybody's capacity and it is not easy." So emotions can be portrayed, emotions can be demonstrated quite easily. But managing that emotions, reasoning with that particular emotion is not easy. And this is emotional intelligence. This is emotional intelligence. When we talk about emotional intelligence has two dimensions. Dimension number one. It refers to one's ability. It refers to one's ability to perceive, interpret, and understand one's own emotions. Perceive, interpret, and understand one's own emotion. What do we mean by these three words? A, you should be able to perceive the emotions that are flowing right now. Many people are visibly angry, many people are visibly frightened, but they are not able to perceive their state of emotion. So you should be able to perceive, you should be able to interpret, you should be able to interpret the emotion, that whether a particular emotion is desirable in a specific situation, yes or no. Okay, here there is a very beautiful kind of illustration that we have. You see this particular thing, we take example, we take reference from Ramayan. In Ramayan, what happened? Ravan abducted the Sita Mata. Okay, Ravan purely acted on a specific emotion that he experienced at that point of a time, yes or no? Acting on that emotion was desirable or undesirable? Obviously undesirable, and it led to a sin, it led to sin. Clear or not? So interpreting an emotion, that whether the emotion is desirable in a situation or not, is key component of emotional intelligence. And then you need to understand the range of emotions, you need to understand range of emotion. You should have sense, you should have perceptibility that okay, this is emotion of anger, this is emotion of happiness, this is rage, this is xyz emotion. Clear? So what emotional intelligence includes? Perceiving, interpreting, and understanding one's own emotion, and on another hand, understanding others emotions, understanding others emotion. So emotional intelligence in nutshell includes two things. One is ability to PIU, perceive, interpret, understand your own emotion, and ability to understand other people's emotions. Is this thing clear or not? This is emotional intelligence. Now there is a beautiful quote given by David Caruso. There is beautiful quote given by David Caruso. What David Caruso says? David Caruso says, it is very important to note, emotional intelligence is not opposite of intelligence. It is not the triumph of heart over the head. Rather, it is unique intersection of both. It is unique intersection of both. I'll make you right. First, understand this thing. What happens often when it comes to the emotional intelligence? We think that emotional intelligence and intelligence are two different things. Often we say okay, that okay, emotional intelligence is thinking from heart, emotional intelligence is thinking, or when a person is giving importance to emotions, hum kya bolte hain? You are thinking from your heart. Okay, and when a person is using logic, rationality, we say okay, that this person is thinking from head. So we have made this artificial dichotomy that when we give more importance to emotions in our decision making, we call it as thinking by heart, and when we are using logic and rationality, we say we are thinking by the head. So there is an artificial dichotomy between EI and intelligence. According to David Caruso, there is no such separation. It is a unique intersection of both. There will be rationality, logic, but there is also emotions that will be acknowledged. Clear or not? In context of civil services, this actually becomes even more important. Let's understand that. But before that, is basic concept of EI clear? Don't get worried, I'll make you write this particular quotation, but basic concept of EI is clear or not? I'll paraphrase whatever we have discussed. We discussed basic definition of EI. What is EI? EI is your ability to perceive, interpret, and understand your own emotion, and ability to understand others' emotion. Okay, then we have discussed that EI and intelligence are not two opposite things, it is an intersection of both the things, right? Now see, I will go in detail that why EI is an important trait for the civil servants. But just for the starters, you see, what happens? What happens? Often you'll find civil servants on two, basically there's a, on two extreme ends, civil servants you'll be finding. A, there is emotional apathy. There is emotional apathy. Then on other hand, there is emotional overzealousness. There is emotional overzealousness. Listen, what happens in emotional apathy? There will be a sense of indifference. There will be a sense of indifference. For example, for example, if you remember, I discussed a case study from Odisha. Now, this case study is from the times of COVID. Government announced a 500 rupee pension at that point of a time. Okay, what happened? One woman who was 70-75 year old, she reached to the nearby bank branch to get the pension of her mother. Her mother was 90-95 year old woman, bedridden, could not walk. What happened? Bank officials were very much adamant that you have to bring the woman here. If she will be physically present, only then pension would be dispersed. And there was this photo that was published in the Hindu newspaper that she was dragging her, the 70-year-old woman, dragging her 90-95-year-old mother on a cot, on a wooden bed. She took her to, I think, 8-10 kilometers. This is example of emotional apathy. That is valid. Okay, bank officials need to testify that money is not, there is no fraud or something like that. But at times, in such type of a situation, there needs a type of sensibility. Bank officials should have arranged for some alternative way, because this is not something that fits in the vision of new India that we are aspiring for. I discussed many number of times that what is the vision that we live by now? Wiping every tear from every eye. Entire chapter dedicated an economic survey 3 years back. Jawaharlal Nehru's a tryst with a destiny speech that was given, which outlined the vision of India, wiping every tear from every eye. Often civil servants, they get detached from people. They don't have any emotional acknowledgement with respect to the state and being of people. It leads to emotional apathy, indifference. Is it desirable? No. On another end, there is other extreme thing, emotional overzealousness. So there are many IAS officers ka example. In fact, I discussed one of an example earlier also from Chhattisgarh. This was also from the time of COVID. What happened? A person was just out, maybe buying something or procuring something. An IAS officer from Chhattisgarh, that all was on video. You'll find it even now. What happened? Officer called this person, asked that, okay, where you are going? He showed some kind of paper, maybe a kind of a prescription for some medicine. He said that, okay, you go. Then after a minute, he called him back and started thrashing this person. One more example, an IAS officer, now this is from one of a state in Northeast, specifically will not be highlighting the names in such kind of situations. What happened? One of an IAS officer entered in a wedding that was going on, and what happened? Started thrashing everyone there. Okay, what happened? This was the situation where there was emotional over zealousness. You were not able to control your emotion. You got carried away by the emotion and you acted on those emotions, right? That the wedding that was there, it might be not following the COVID protocols, but using physical force, thrashing the person physically is not which is sanctioned under the rule of law. Is this thing clear or not? तो हो क्या रहा है? Both the cases are undesirable. You need not to be apathetic towards emotions of people. You need not to be so much driven by the emotions that in everything your emotion takes over, because by that particular thing what will happen? Effective service delivery will not happen. Is this thing clear or not? So in a nutshell, this is why emotional intelligence is important for ensuring there is niti as well as nyay, as discussed by Amartya Sen, for ensuring that vision of wiping every tear from every eye is fulfilled, which is right now the vision, ensuring that empathy and compassion, which are believed to be the hallmark qualities of the civil servant, they are reflected. EI is important. One more thing, one more thing. When we are talking about the emotional intelligence, often we make a kind of a dichotomy that certain type of emotions are needed, certain type of emotions are never needed. Just I am taking one particular dimension. For example, anger. For example, anger. Okay? In this case, we have seen that how anger became entirely a problematic thing. Okay. Do we need to shun out these all emotions entirely? क्या इन इमोशंस को बिल्कुल सस्पेंड कर देना चाहिए? In fact, understand this particular thing. Certain emotions, for example, anger, it has a particular utility. What utility? Utility is this: the anger is emotion responsible for demand of justice. Anger is a driving force for demand of social reformation. Gandhiji, when he was pushed out of the train compartment in South Africa, obviously he experienced the emotion of anger. But rather than using that particular anger in the form of violence at that point of a time, he channelized that particular anger in a form of a productive energy. And that productive energy was used for the freedom struggle in India. The point is that emotions will be very much natural. Emotions will be there. You should have capacity to understand that how a specific emotion will be used. At times, some emotions need not to be reflected, should not get reflected in your actions. Is it clear or not? This ability, power, is emotional intelligence. Is this thing clear or not? ठीक है, समझ में आ रहा है? Fine. So this is what we have emotional intelligence. Okay. So what we are going to do, first we will be writing basic definition of EI purely with respect to examination that you are going to use. ठीक है? Then we further will develop on this particular topic. Is this thing clear or not? ठीक है? तो जल्दी से एक बार हम लोग लिख लेते हैं. EI, yes. Yes, good question. So she has asked this question, okay, when we are writing these examples, should we use name? Listen, understand, when you are writing your answer, you are giving an impression to examiner, and in that impression, your maturity should reflect. Listen, when positive examples are there, for example, we discuss of example of Dr. IAS Rajendra Bharu, who by intellectual virtues was able to avert the tragedy. We'll use example. We discussed the example of Dr. Armstrong Bame. Many examples, IAS officer Armstrong Bame. Many of these examples will use it when it is positive. But when it is a negative example, rather than specifically using the name here, but we'll see, we will give a general definition that often it has been seen that civil servants act in rage and this happens. My point is that we'll not deliberately or directly call names. ठीक है, थोड़ा सा डिप्लोमेटिक रहेंगे. यू माइट से कि भाई जब अच्छे में ले रहे हैं नाम तो गंदे में नाम क्यों ना ले. ठीक है, you do that particular thing, but in your answer copy you need to present a academic sensibility also at times. Is it clear or not? When it is good, we are giving the credit, but when there is something wrong, deliberately थोड़ा सा हम लोग avoid करेंगे. ठीक है, is this thing clear or not? Okay, so we'll write it and then we'll move to the next aspect of this. Please write. Okay, when it comes to, just for your reference, when it comes to EI, na, there is one साइकोलॉजिस्ट दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, थोड़ा सा बस एक बार उनका नाम सुन लो, डेनियल गोलमैन. ओके, क्लियर और नॉट? डेनियल गोलमैन. So this is the authoritative figure on EIE and this subject. Please write. Emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence refers to, emotional intelligence refers to a a ability to perceive, ability to perceive, identify and interpret, ability to perceive, identify and interpret one's own emotion, one's own emotion, one's own emotion. B, B, ability to, ability to, ability to relate and connect, ability to relate and connect with emotions and feelings of other people, ability to relate and connect with emotions and feelings of other people, emotion and feelings of other people. Is this thing clear or not? This is what emotional intelligence refers to. If you want, in bracket you can write the name of Daniel Goleman. So this is the description given by Daniel Goleman. Is this thing clear or not? Okay, we'll write the quotation by David Caruso that we discussed. Please write the next paragraph. Next paragraph. According to David Caruso, according to David Caruso, David Caruso, it is very important to understand. It is very important to understand. According to David Caruso, it is very important to understand that EI, emotional intelligence, that EI, emotional intelligence, is not the opposite of intelligence. EI, emotional intelligence, is not the opposite of intelligence. Is not the opposite of intelligence. Comma. It is not the triumph. Triumph का मतलब क्या होता है? Victory. It is not the triumph. It is not the triumph of heart over head. Of heart over head. Heart over head. It is the unique intersection of both. 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 Is it clear or not? ठीक है. In fact, okay, so ठीक है, is this clear? Everybody has taken the notes? Good. Listen, actually, the difference between justice and revenge, difference between justice and revenge is also on the basis of the underlying emotions. ठीक है. Just for the matter of conceptual understanding, what is the difference between justice and revenge? What is positive? Is justice positive or revenge positive? Justice is positive. Is revenge positive? No. How you will differentiate between justice and revenge? One by one? Yes. Good. Yes. Revenge can be. And okay, justice.
Justice is according to the rule of law.
Okay.
Revenge can be some personal emotions or.
Okay. Listen. Listen. Basically, if you have read somewhere or if you have heard, what was Gandhiji's view? Gandhiji said, hate the sin, not the sinner. Gandhiji said, hate the sin and not sinner. According to Gandhiji, act of sin is something undesirable, it is bad. Person doing that particular act, against that person there should not be hate. However, on practical terms, it is not possible to distinguish between the sin and the sinner. Okay, but there's a very important message. There is a very important message here. Is it clear or not? We'll explore that particular message just in a minute. First of all, let me give you a clarity between the justice and revenge. So basically, when justice is concerned, when justice is concerned, justice flows from justice flows from the intention of seeking balance, from the intention of restoring the balance in society. But revenge purely emerges from the emotions of rage and anger. Revenge is only about retaliation. Justice is about balance. Is it clear or not? Revenge is personal. Justice is societal. Justice is societal. When I am seeking revenge, I want to settle my ego. I want to satiate my rage. But when I'm seeking justice, I'm seeking for entire community. Clear? For example, recently there was a horrific rape incident that happened in West Bengal. We all know about that. People came out seeking justice. They see, demand was not to punish people only because of only for this particular matter. People wanted that such precedent should be established that nobody dares to commit this heinous act. Is this thing clear or not? तो जब justice की बात होती है, justice is not for only me, justice is for entire society. Revenge is only for me. Is this thing clear or not? Revenge will not follow the rule of law. Revenge will not have any constitutional limit. Justice will have constitutional limit and would be carried under the rule of law. Revenge, listen, for the context of justice, it is said justice is not appreciated for the goal that it reaches. Rather, justice is appreciated for the process that it follows. So justice will always have a process. Justice will always have a process. Revenge will not have a process. Justice will be accessible for all. Revenge will be accessible only to that person who has more power, the one who has might. Are you getting it or not? In revenge, might is right, but in justice, right is right. In justice, right is right. Is this thing clear or not? ठीक है. So just we will write this particular thing in 2-3 lines maximum. बहुत फैलाएंगे नहीं. So please write. Please write. ठीक है. Next paragraph. In fact, difference between justice and revenge. In fact, difference between justice and revenge. In fact, difference between justice and revenge is primarily driven by is primarily driven by is primarily driven by is primarily driven by underlying emotions. Underlying emotions. Are you getting it or not? Full stop. Misplaced emotions. Misplaced emotions. Misplaced emotions. Misplaced emotions. Misplaced emotion might fuel demands for revenge in place of demands for justice. Might fuel demand for revenge in place of demand for justice. Demand of for justice. Demand for justice. Therefore, emotional intelligence Therefore, emotional intelligence, EI. Therefore, emotional intelligence is foundational, is foundational, is foundational, even for, is foundational even for just social order, even for just social order. Understand this thing, when we are writing about EI, not only EI is relevant for administrators only कि भाई civil servant को ही emotional intelligence होना चाहिए. EI is important for everyone. If you don't have perception, interpretation, and understanding of your own emotions, what will happen? Your emotions will guide you, your emotions will drive you, and if you act on your emotions always, social order will get disturbed. Society will see chaos. Is this thing clear or not? ठीक है. In fact, there might be question where they might directly ask भाई justice and revenge में क्या difference है. ठीक है. So for that particular matter, अब क्या करते हैं हम लोग justice and revenge को भी एक बार देख लेते हैं. ठीक है. तो all the points that we have already discussed. So just we'll do one thing, we'll make a table. So make a table, on one hand justice, one hand revenge. One hand justice, one hand revenge. So on the side of justice, please write justice. So justice, it is societal. It is societal and impersonal. It is societal and impersonal. It is societal and impersonal. Obviously, I might be seeking justice. I might be seeking justice, but I'm not seeking only for me. I am seeking it for entire society. Are you getting it or not? What is the aim of justice? If justice will be delivered, it will establish a good precedent for the society, and that precedent will guide the behavior in future. So justice is impersonal, it is societal. Revenge, revenge, it is personal. Revenge is personal. Here, justice. Next, justice seeks to restore balance and order. Justice seeks to restore balance and order. Revenge seeks retaliation without balance. Seeks retaliation without balance. Revenge is not, you have heard that ईंट का जवाब पत्थर से, पत्थर का जवाब पहाड़ से. ठीक है. What happens in justice? You are seeking balance, you are seeking the restoration of the balance that have got disturbed, right? Revenge में आपको balance नहीं चाहिए, you want to retaliate. That retaliation will be met by counter retaliation, retaliation, counter retaliation. So revenge will always be cyclical. Are you getting it or not? Justice will be about closure. तो लिख लो, एक पॉइंट यहीं पे बन जाएगा. Justice is about closure, revenge is cyclical. Justice is about closure, revenge is cyclical. Right? Justice is about closure. Okay, ठीक है. Let's restore the balance and let's close it. But revenge is cyclical. वो कभी खत्म नहीं होगा. Okay, are we clear or not? Tell me one thing. Are you able to take down the notes as well? ठीक है. तो justice is cyclical. Sorry, justice is closure. Revenge is cyclical. Are we clear or not? ठीक है. एक और पॉइंट लिखते हैं. Justice follows. Justice follows. Justice follows. Justice follows fair process and rule of law. Justice follows fair process and rule of law. Revenge. Revenge. Revenge aims to subvert. Revenge aims to. Revenge aims to subvert and twist laws. Revenge aims to subvert and twist laws. Revenge aims to subvert and twist laws in the favor of powerful. तो बदला लेना है तो क्या करूंगा मैं, या तो लॉ को बाईपास कर दूंगा या लॉ को इस तरीके से यूज करूंगा कि दैट लॉ मेरी ईगो को सेटिस्फाई करे. इज दिस थिंग क्लियर और नॉट? क्लियर और नॉट? वन मोर पॉइंट. Justice follows the dictum. Justice follows the dictum. Right is right. Justice follows the dictum. Right is right. Doesn't matter who is getting offended by that. Right is right. Revenge follows the dictum. Might is right. Revenge follows the dictum. Might is right. Might. M-I-G-H-T. Are we getting it or not? Now, from this point, understand. Because right is right, will it be accessible to poor? Justice. Because right is right, will it be accessible to poor? Will it be accessible to marginalized? But revenge, will it be accessible to poor? No, because might is right, and might comes from power, authority, and money. Are you getting it or not? Might is the sum total of your money, your authority. Might is power, and power is not in the favor of poor. So revenge will not be accessible to poor. It will only be accessible to rich, privileged. Yes, are we clear on this or not? ठीक है. Any question, any doubt till this point of time? Can we move now from here? ठीक है. So what we have done in the course of this lecture as of now, we have discussed emotions, we have discussed difference between emotions and moods, we discussed feelings, difference between moods, emotions and feelings, then we have discussed the types of emotions. Okay, then we started with the emotional intelligence. In emotional intelligence, what we have discussed, we have seen what is EI, then we have seen that EI is important for just and orderly society, because sometimes untamed emotion might even convert the demand for justice in the demand for revenge. Clear or not? And then justice versus revenge, all these things we have discussed. Can we move? Okay, moving on. Yes. किसमें होते हैं? हम्म. नहीं, इससे इसमें जस्टिस, आप यूपीएससी की तैयारी करो, उसमें जस्टिस और रिवेंज कहां से आ रहा है? मतलब आप थोड़ा सा एक्सप्लेन करो सिचुएशन को. जस्ट यस, प्लीज बी साइलेंट एवरीवन. ठीक है, ठीक है, ओके. तो माय क्वेश्चन इज दिस कि आप इसमें क्या पूछना चाह रहे हो? नहीं, तो कुछ भी नहीं है. रिवेंज और जस्टिस में क्या है इसमें? मतलब आई एम प्रिपेयरिंग, इट टुक मी 5 ईयर, इट टुक मी 7 ईयर. इसमें जस्टिस और रिवेंज का क्या मैटर है? आर यू अंडरस्टैंड? इसमें रिवेंज किस बात पे लोगे आप? यहाँ पे देखो, यू वांट टू आस्क माय व्यू इन अ पर्टिकुलर कैपेसिटी, एक बात होती है वो. इसका बहुत मतलब क्या है, मेरे को आपने क्रिटिसाइज करा कि आपका नहीं होगा, मैंने करी तैयारी, मैंने क्लियर कर दिया. आर यू गेटिंग इट और नॉट? तो यू माइट कॉल इट एज दैट आई वांटेड टू जस्ट प्रूव यू रॉन्ग. इज इट क्लियर और नॉट? ठीक है. understand when we are talking about these words justice and all these things, these are profound things that we are talking about. हम लोग वो डे टू डे नॉमेनक्लेचर में ये बात कर रहे हैं, हम यहाँ पे क्या बात कर रहे हैं, यहाँ पे हम बात कर रहे हैं सिस्टमिक ऑर्डर रिफॉर्मेशन की बात कर रहे हैं. ठीक है, चलो मूविंग ऑन, लेट्स मूव. यस, यस. नहीं देखो, लिसन, देखो समझो, अंडरस्टैंड दिस पर्टिकुलर थिंग ना. देयर इज नो लिटमस टेस्ट जिसके अंदर में बहुत बार क्या होगा, ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि यू विल कैटेगराइज कि ये जस्टिस था, ये रिवेंज था. व्हाट इज जस्टिस, व्हाट रिवेंज ऑल्सो ऑफन डिपेंड्स व्हाट यू कैन जस्टिफाई एज रिवेंज और जस्टिस. ठीक है, तो नहीं है कि ए कंडीशन रिवेंज, बी कंडीशन. समटाइम्स व्हाट यू विल कॉल एज रिवेंज आई माइट कॉल इट एज जस्टिस. समटाइम्स व्हाट आई माइट कॉल एज जस्टिस यू माइट कॉल इट एज रिवेंज. आर यू गेटिंग इट ऑन? तो व्हाट आर द परसेप्शंस दैट विल आल्सो मैटर. ठीक है, मूव, लेट्स मूव, लेट्स मूव. philosophical viewpoints on EI, emotions. Just yes minute, एक मिनट बस लिख लो. philosophical philosophical viewpoints, viewpoints on emotions and EI, emotions and EI. Here we will discuss the reference from Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita. Here we'll take reference from Buddhism. Here we'll take reference from Buddhism. And will take one of reference from the Western philosophy, Aristotle. Fine. Okay. Yes, please ask. What was your question? जस्टिस जो होता है, यस, जस्टिस में क्योंकि रूल होगा, एक प्रोसेस फॉलो करना होगा, एंड प्रोसेस विल बी इंश्योर्ड बाय एन अथॉरिटी. यस, यस. ठीक है, ओके. नाउ what are philosophical views on justice and the emotions, sorry, philosophical views on emotions? First of all, we'll take example from Mahabharata and Bhagavad Gita. So the battle of Kurukshetra, battle of Kurukshetra, arjun 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 is experiencing multiple emotions at during this time. Clear? Arjun is experiencing the emotion of anger. Why? Listen, multiple emotions है, ठीक है. There is the sense of anger. Arjun seeks justice in lieu of all the wrong that has been done by the Kauravas earlier. Yes or no? Including Draupadi's Vastra Haran. ठीक है, so he is seeking justice. Clear or not? At the same time, there is fraternal love. There is fraternal love that he is experiencing. Fraternal and filial love that he is experiencing. Filial is towards a person whom you see in the capacity of a fatherly figure. Fraternal is towards your brother. So if you just see, Arjun right now is confused. What I should do? Should I fight and seek justice? Should I give up my weapon? Should I not fight here? Because at the end of the day, the people with against whom I'm fighting, they are my teacher, they are my brother, they are my uncles. Clear or not? So this is an emotional dilemma that Arjun is facing. Fine. And here, Shri Krishna, here Lord Shri Krishna will give an excellent lesson to Arjun in emotional intelligence. Now understand this particular thing. Shri Krishna gives an excellent lesson. What happens? Usually we categorize emotions as bad and good. Some emotions are bad, some emotions are good. Shri Krishna advises that emotions will not be bad and good. Rather, the emotions can be categorized as higher order emotions and the lower order emotions. See, is love a bad emotion? No. Is love a bad emotion? No. Is anger a good emotion? Not always. Okay, but context plays an important role. Arjun, in the mid of the battle, is experiencing these particular emotions. This emotion that he's experiencing in private capacity, yes or no? But is he in the private domain now? No. Right now, Arjun is a warrior. Arjun is in the capacity of a Kshatriya. And for Kshatriya, what is dharma? Dharma is to fight. Dharma is to fight for the cause of justice. Arjun, right now, in capacity of a Kshatriya, in capacity of a warrior, is doing public duty. His duty is to uphold justice. And in this domain, he is experiencing the private emotion, that is the fraternal and filial love. Love is not bad. But if he would have felt that in private domain, in private life, then that was good. Right now, in the capacity of a warrior, this order is not a higher order emotion. Clear or not? What is a higher order emotion? Emotion of basically the emotion, higher order emotion is that he should do the duty. He should do the duty. Is this thing clear or not? So basically, Bhagavad Gita, Lord Shri Krishna advises one particular thing, that a person needs to constantly evaluate that what is a desirable emotion in a particular situation and should act as per that particular emotion. Okay, there are no emotions which are always lower order, there are no emotions which are always higher order. Emotions in specific context as per the specific requirement will be desirable or undesirable. One very beautiful example. Now, for example, we have example of Jatayu from Ramayana. When Jatayu came across the incident of abduction of the Sita Mata, he was angry or not angry? He was angry. He acted on that anger and fought in that. He acted on that particular angle. Ultimately, he died, but died in the lap of Lord Ram. ठीक है? Bhishma, see, he showcased anger. He showcased anger, but still died in the lap of Lord Ram. You take example of Bhishma from Mahabharata. The day when Vastra Haran of Draupadi happened, he should have been angry and should have stopped that particular thing. Did not did that and died on the bed of arrows. In one capacity, you are acting on anger, but still you die in the lap of Lord Ram. In one capacity, you did not acted on anger, and because you did not acted on desirable anger at that point of a time, you die on the bed of arrows. You able to understand or not? Okay? Though that thing can always be debated, if you take example of Bhishma, he has given the word that I will always be standing in the duty of throne. He was a deontologist. He was deontologist. But don't you think that during that particular assembly, in fact, Shri Krishna later will hold this particular viewpoint that partly great people in the assembly at that day, such as Guru Dron, such as Bhishma, were responsible for the injustice, for the battle of Kurukshetra that happened, because that day they did not stood to uphold the virtue and honor of a women. So what I'm trying to explain you, for example, anger, it's not like that you should not always act. And if you are not getting angry when there is injustice being meted out with weak and powerless, then that is unethical. Is it clear or not? Anger is a prerequisite for every reform, for every battle of justice. Is this thing clear or not? Now, further, Shri Krishna talks about sthit pragyata. Sthit pragyata. Sthit pragyata. So, a person should be sthit pragya. What is sthit pragyata? Sthit pragyata is a person's ability to not get influenced by extreme emotions. Understand what is happening? There should not be too much variance in your temperament because of a lot of temporary emotions that are coming and going. ठीक है, you should maintain a distinct calm, you should maintain a distinct calm even in the face of lot of emotions. Are you getting it or not? समझ में आ रहा? We call this as equanimity, we call this as equanimity, very important for civil servants. See, when you will be posted as a civil servant, a lot of things are going on at a given moment. Some people will come and appreciate you, some people will criticize you. If you are getting always impacted by these emotions which are very temporary and very fluidly coming, what will happen? You will never be able to do the right thing. ठीक है? So a person should be sthit pragya, should maintain equanimity, should not get too much affected by extreme emotions. इसका मतलब ये भी नहीं है कि that आप emotion से impact नहीं होगे, you are emotionally apathetic. You need to have this ability to see which emotion should affect me, which emotion should not affect me. Every emotion should not be reflected in your decision, your temperament. Are you able to understand or not? So this is what the major lesson or major take of Bhagavad Gita on emotions. Clear or not? ठीक है, समझ में आ रहा है? यहाँ पे we are going to take the implied message that's there. ठीक है? So just we'll do one thing. We'll take down 2 points, 3 points, and then we'll move to the next one. Okay. Bhagavad Gita, please write. The Kurukshetra war. The Kurukshetra war. The Kurukshetra war. The Kurukshetra war. And Arjun's confusion. The Kurukshetra war and Arjun's confusion. Arjun's confusion aptly demonstrates, aptly, aptly, aptly demonstrates, aptly demonstrates, aptly demonstrates emotional turmoil, emotional turmoil that is often experienced, that is often experienced, that is often experienced, that is often experienced by individuals even in present times, that is often experienced by individuals even in present times. Is it clear or not? So there is a lot of emotional turmoil that Arjun is facing. Even the people in the power positions and even a common man will face के इतने सारे इमोशंस एक साथ में चल रहे हैं. Yes or no? ठीक है, next paragraph please write. Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna advised Arjun, Shri Krishna advised Arjun, advised Arjun to discern, D-I-S-C-E-R, to discern, distinguish between high order emotions, between high order emotions and low order emotions, between high order emotion and low order emotion, between high order emotion and low order emotions, as this distinguishment, as this distinguishment lays the foundation of dharma, as this distinguishment lays the foundation of dharma, as this distinguishment lays the foundation of dharma. Is it clear or not? Dharma क्या है? Which emotion I should act upon? Are you getting it or not? If Arjun would have given up the weapon and would not have fought because he got carried away by fraternal and filial love, would it had led to the establishment of dharma? No. समझ में आ रहा है? So distinguishing what emotion right now you should give preference will lay the foundation of dharma. Is this thing clear or not? Please keep on writing. Next point में लिखेंगे. Low order emotions. Low order emotions. Low order emotions make a person low order emotions make a person slave, make a person slave. Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, in fact, Shri Krishna, in fact, supported the idea of sthit pragyata, supported the idea of sthit pragyata, sthit pragyata, sthit pragyata, where his mind is not shaken by, where his mind is not shaken by, is not shaken by adversities. Are you getting it or not? Please write. It would lead to, it would lead to, it would lead to resilience and adversity quotient. It would lead to resilience and adversity quotient. We'll discuss AQ all separately, don't get worried. Adversity quotient. Adversity quotient. Adversity quotient. Which is one of the most desirable value in civil servants as well. Which is one of the most desirable value. Which is one of the most desirable value even in civil servants. Which is one of the most desirable value even in civil servants. Clear or not? समझ में आ रहा है? So these are the core takeaways on emotions and emotional intelligence. I will paraphrase whatever we have discussed till now. So what happened? First, it has been advised that a person should be able to distinguish between high order emotion and low order emotion. There are no emotions which are always high order. There are no emotions which are always low order emotion. High order or low order का मतलब क्या है? Emotion which is desirable in a situation, you should act on that. That is high order. Emotion that is not desirable, you should not act on that particular emotion. This is something that is to be done. Also, what type of action is required on an emotion? That also you need to understand. ठीक है? Secondly, स्थित प्रज्ञता. A person should not get too much affected by their emotions. ठीक है? It will lead to equanimity, calm. It will lead to adversity quotient. Okay. Next, Buddhism. 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 Now, Buddhism. अभी Buddhism. See, there is Madhyamik Marg. There is Madhyamik Marg that is suggested by Buddhism. Madhyamik Marg. What is Madhyamik Marg all about? Middle path. You should avoid extremes. You should avoid extremes. Should take the middle path. Can't we apply this thing in emotional intelligence also? One should not get affected by extreme emotions and should maintain calm, should maintain balance. Second thing, Buddhism advocates Shanikvad. What is Shanikvad? Shanikvad is theory of momentariness. Shanikvad is theory of momentariness. In very simple terms, Kshanikvad means that impermanence is the real nature of the world. Impermanence. Nothing is permanent. समझ में आ रहा है? If nothing is permanent, emotional states are also not permanent. Yes or no? Emotions are temporary, momentary. Why this realization is very important? This realization is important because if you see what happens nowadays, we see many people when they get struck by some adversity, when they get struck by some deep emotions, they are acting on that and are taking extreme steps such as self-harm, suicide. Yes or no? You will find often many people who had a lot of potential. Actually, when they struck by certain negative emotions, they took extreme decisions to end their life. ठीक है? There is one very griefful incident couple of months back. Certain students committed suicide in Kota, right? ठीक है? What happened? There was a sense of academic, let's say there was a kind of an academic dissatisfaction that was there. Because of that academic dissatisfaction, there was intense emotional outburst that was there. And actually what happened, see, you need to understand the psychology of a person in this situation. Sometimes there will be such intense emotional outbursts that will be there that a person will experience, and it is unbearable just for 1 second, and it becomes so much unbearable that a person often thinks that rather than living through this, it is better to end the life. And often people take such extreme steps, and often such aspiring, such potential people, they lose their life. समझ में आ रहा है? If in this situation we just keep in mind that as everything is momentary, emotions are momentary. This is an emotional outburst that is there, but it will pass. But it will pass. Don't you think it will automatically build the adversity quotient, ability to fight with circumstance, ability to reflect back in the face of adversity, which is actually required even for civil servants? Are you getting it or not? Often a civil servant might get overwhelmed by certain negative emotions, and just remembering there that this emotional state will pass will give them resilience, which we can learn from the Kshanikvad theory. Yes, are we clear on this particular point? Yes or no? ठीक है, this is something that we can take from there. ठीक है, जल्दी इसको लिख लेते हैं, please write. Buddha suggested madhyam marg. Buddha suggested madhyam marg. Madhyam marg. Madhyam marg as a way to madhyam marg as a way to virtuous living. It can also be used to manage emotions. It can also be used to manage emotions. Full stop, please write. Rather than being carried away by extreme emotions, rather than being carried away by extreme emotions, rather than being carried away by extreme emotions, one should aspire for equanimity, that is balance. One should aspire for equanimity. One should aspire for equanimity, that is balance. Clear? Next paragraph. Theory of Kshanikvad. Next paragraph. Theory of Kshanikvad. suggests impermanence. Theory of Kshanikvad suggests impermanence. Suggests impermanence. Theory of Kshanikvad suggests impermanence. Suggests impermanence. Therefore, one should be mindful impermanence. Therefore, one should be mindful. Therefore, one should be mindful about the impermanent nature of emotions. One should be mindful about impermanent nature of emotions. And therefore, and therefore, and therefore, should not take, and therefore should not take long-term decisions. Should not take long-term decisions. Long-term decisions on the basis of momentary emotions. On the basis of momentary emotions. ठीक है? So often what will happen? We'll take long-term decisions, lifelong decision के emotion के outburst में आके एक पूरी जिंदगी के लिए decision ले लिया. That you should not do. Yes or no? So this is something that we learn from Buddhism on emotional intelligence and management of emotions. Is it clear or not? The third one will take one reference from the Western philosophy, Aristotle. We'll take one reference from Western philosophy, that is Aristotle. You see, what is adversity quotient? Adversity quotient, also called as resilience quotient, quotient to bounce back. It refers to a person's ability to stand in face of adversity, failure, or setback. How well you again stand when you have struck with some failure, some setback. Okay, that ability to stand is adversity quotient. Why some people will not be able to stand and some people will be able to stand? Because some have good adversity quotient. Adversity quotient is contributed by many things. One is also the emotional intelligence. That is one of a factor. Understand what happens? Some people often they take extreme steps in the face of adversity. Some people take extreme steps in the face of adversity, right? For example, so big adversity that people decide to end the life. What actually happened? This adversity led to intense emotional outburst. Clear? Because sometimes we will not be able to reason that this is an emotional outburst which shall pass. What happens? Such extreme steps would be taken. Clear or not? Can we move from here? Aristotle. Aristotle. So as Aristotle is concerned, Aristotle, first of all, do you remember we discussed the quote given by Aristotle? ठीक है, सबसे पहले तो उसको लिख लेते हैं. Please write Aristotle. According to Aristotle, anybody can become angry. That is easy. Anybody can become angry. That is easy. Anybody can become angry. That is easy. But to be angry with the right person, but to be angry with the right person to the right degree, but to be angry with the right person, but to be angry with the right person to the right degree, but to be angry with the right person to the right degree at the right time, for the right purpose, for the right purpose, for the right purpose, in the right way, for the right purpose, in the right way, is not within everybody's power. is not within everybody's power, is not within everybody's power, and is not easy, is not within everybody's power, and is not easy, and is not easy. Clear? So first of all, so here comes a valuable lesson in emotional intelligence. Emotions are natural, emotions are primordial, everybody will experience it. आपको भी होगा, आपको भी होगा, आपको भी होगा. But managing that emotion is not in everybody's control. Are you getting it or not? Just right. Hence, role of EI becomes important. Hence, role of EI, emotional intelligence, becomes important. Hence, role of EI, emotional intelligence, becomes important. Are you getting it or not? You remember we discussed the rhetoric, Aristotle's book Rhetoric, when we were discussing persuasion. In rhetoric, what he talked about, ethos, logos, and pathos. In pathos, he said that while you are carrying a persuasion, it is very important that you connect with the emotion of a person. Yes or no? So, in fact, emotional intelligence, connecting with the emotions of a person, is a important thing in the part of persuasion. Okay, civil servants. You remember, important art for a civil servant is to carry effective persuasion, which will be required for the compliance for a lot of schemes. Beti bachao, beti padhao, persuasion. Avoiding vaccine hesitancy, persuasion. Ensuring that people use the toilets that are being constructed under the Swachh Bharat mission, you need to persuade them. You want to avoid farmers burning the stubble, you need to persuade them. Clear or not? So emotional intelligence is an important component in persuasion, as mentioned by Aristotle in his rhetoric. So there also EI is an important functional quality for a civil servant. Yes or no? And similar lines as Buddhism, Aristotle talked about the idea of golden mean, which is nothing but a moderation. And such moderation is required even in the face of emotions. Don't get deviated by extreme emotions, but rather follow a golden mean, balance. Okay, are we clear or not? Okay, so this is about the Aristotle. जल्दी से एक बार लिख लेते हैं इसको. Next paragraph. In rhetoric, Aristotle in fact argued that effective persuasion depends on ethos, pathos, logos. Ethos, pathos, logos. Okay, you remember हमने डिस्कस किया था ये already when we were discussing persuasion. Ethos, pathos, logos. You know क्या था? All three, remember? ठीक है, please write in this. Continue करेंगे. Pathos, P-A-T-H-O-S, pathos, P-A-T-H-O-S, pathos takes in account emotional state of the subject to be persuaded. Emotional state of the subject to be persuaded. Hence, EI, emotional intelligence. Is even crucial for effective persuasion which is crucial functional skill for civil servants while seeking compliances from the citizens. Yes, are you able to understand or not? Okay. Now we'll move to the next topic, but before that, just take a 2 minute of time and please go through all the topics that we have discussed, notes जो भी हमने बनाया है, and ensure that you are able to understand everything. गोल्डन मीन वही माध्यमिक मार्ग वाला ही आइडिया है, जैसे एज मध्यम मार्ग में सजेस्ट किया था मॉडरेशन, इन द गोल्डन मीन द सेम आइडिया इज देयर. ठीक है, एरिस्टोटल हम लोग अलग से भी देखेंगे इन द फिलोसफी सेक्शन. डेविड करूसो आर्ग्यूज इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू अंडरस्टैंड EI इज नॉट द अपोजिट ऑफ इंटेलिजेंस. ऑफन व्हाट हैपेंस, देखो व्हाट हैपेंस, सी हम क्या बोलते हैं, वन इज थिंकिंग बाय हार्ट, वन इज थिंकिंग बाय हेड. When we say thinking by heart, it means giving emotions importance in your decision, yes or no. When we say thinking by head, what it means you will not give too much importance to emotions, you will give importance to logic and reason, right? yahan tak clear hai? So intelligence and emotional intelligence are two different things. Means the person, हम ये समझते हैं जो सही नहीं है. It is assumed that people who are emotionally intelligent people, they think by emotions, and people who are intelligent, they think more by logic and reasoning. Therefore, it is often assumed that emotional intelligence is opposite of intelligence. Is this thing clear or not? Which David Caruso says is not right. So I'll read. It is important to understand that EI is not the opposite of intelligence. It is not victory of heart over the head. Means it is not only कि logic और rationality होगी ही नहीं. It is intersection of both. Means emotionally intelligent person, who is a really emotionally intelligent person, is that person who will use logic, reasoning, evidence in decision making, but at the same time will also be mindful about the emotions. हम लोग डाइकॉटमी बना देते हैं, कुछ लोग सिर्फ इमोशन ही सोचेंगे, लॉजिक रेशनलिटी भूल जाएंगे, कुछ लोग सिर्फ लॉजिक रेशनलिटी देखेंगे, इमोशंस भूल जाएंगे. अ पर्सन हु इज ट्रूली एन इमोशनली इंटेलिजेंट पर्सन will actually be doing both. Is this clear? Okay. Please give us a bending. Unique interest of both means head and heart. Okay, moving on. Please give us a bending. Now the next we have framework of EI, or you may call it as components of EI. Framework or components of EI. Framework, components of EI. Now, according to Daniel Goleman, there are five components, or in framework of EI, there are 5 steps. There are 5 steps in the framework of EI. Just to make things simple and easy for you, when we talk about these 5 components or the framework or something like that, simple सा ये है, how to be an emotionally intelligent person. क्या 5 चीजें हैं? What are the 5 things that are needed to be there to be an emotionally intelligent person? So components of emotional intelligence means 5 things that are required to be an emotionally intelligent person. Is this thing clear or not? ठीक है, so we'll discuss this one by one. सबसे पहले क्या आता है? The first one is self awareness. First one is self awareness. Self awareness means you should have knowledge, you should have awareness about your emotions, your emotional responses, your emotional vulnerabilities, your emotional vulnerabilities. ठीक है, see some people might be very much prone to anger. Very small things might make them angry. Some people might be prone to fear. ठीक है, थोड़ा सा कुछ हुआ they'll be frightened. So different people have different emotional responses. So you should be mindful about your emotions, which emotions you are more vulnerable to. ऐसे कौन से emotions है जो आपको बहुत जल्दी से impact कर सकते हैं? Self awareness. The next is self regulation. Next is self regulation. What self regulation entails? Self regulation entails that a person need to have a practical, workable, tricks and solutions which the person can use in face of emotional response, emotional outburst. For example, suppose you get angry easily, आपको बहुत छोटी छोटी बातों पे गुस्सा आ जाता है. Now, how you will manage that anger? Okay, I will drink a glass of water. I'll not talk with anyone for, let's say, 5 minutes, or I'll do this, I'll do that. What do you do to calm yourself? What do you do to regulate that intense emotion? That is self regulation. Clear or not? So, first, you need to have self awareness about your emotional state of mind. You need to have some regulating skills. Is this thing clear or not? उसके बाद में तीसरा क्या आता है? The third one, empathy. Empathy. What empathy includes? What empathy includes? Empathy includes, see, empathy. You need to understand the motivation behind others' emotions. The motivation behind others' emotions. Listen, sometimes the others' emotion, sometimes the emotions of the other people, it includes emotional literacy. Emotional literacy. Let me give you one example. Let's take one analogy. 1.5 year back, there was this news that one person killed their own parent. Why? Because the parent was not allowing this person to play too much of video games. Have you heard that news? Why the concerned parent was not allowing them? Why parent was not allowing them? Maybe because they were spending too much time on screen, their mental health was getting impacted, they were not focusing on study. Parent might have showcased anger, but was that anger coming out of bad intention? Intention of that anger was bona fide. Intention of that anger was positive. Clear? So sometimes a teacher might be angry on you, parent might be angry on you. The anger is an emotion that you can see, but also you need to know the motivation behind this anger. You need to know the motivation behind other people's anger that is being bursted on you. Is this thing clear or not? Sometimes intention might be bona fide. तो ये समझना क्या है emotional intelligence. Sometimes motivation might be bona fide. A person is angry, but the person is angry because he is concerned for you. So bona fide intention. Sometimes intentions, अब देखो यहाँ पे bona fide है या नहीं है उसका रोल नहीं आता. Sometimes a person's flow of emotion or anger might be because of a situation which is beyond their own control and which has nothing to do with you. Listen, let's understand this thing. Suppose chalo, you are living with one of your friend, you both are roommates and both are preparing for this examination. Let's say your friend, not your friend, let's say, okay, your friend, he started preparing early. He or she started preparing early. You did job for, let's say, 2-3 years and now you have come for the preparation. ठीक है, समझते हैं. Now, you both give prelims examination. Your friends, it was last attempt of your friend. First attempt of yours. You cleared, your friend did not cleared, and it was his last attempt. Now result has just come and he is very tensed, very much worried, angry. Okay, कुछ उसको पता नहीं कि अब क्या होगा. You enter room. You were taking you were just picking some of your book, and by mistake, what happened? You dropped your friend's book or pen or some of his thing, some item you dropped there. Now this person started showing anger. The person started screaming. Person started abusing you. Is this anger? Yes. Is this anger having? क्या इससे आपका कोई फायदा होगा? नहीं होगा. But why this person is showcasing anger? This person was so much frustrated that he was just searching for a conduit. He was just searching for a channel through which he can vent out the anger. Actually, he is angry on you, but he has this has nothing to do with you. Person is so much overwhelmed by his own situation that he is using you just as a conduit. Now, there will be the two type of responses. One response is that you will take it on your ego. You will also start abusing. ठीक है, आप भी ने भी कुछ कुछ ऐसी सी बातें बोल दी उसको कि सही हुआ तुम्हारा, क्लियर नहीं हुआ तो ठीक है, इट वाज बिकॉज ऑफ योर, ठीक है, तुमने मेहनत ही नहीं करी, यू आर अनवर्दी, समथिंग लाइक दैट. आप ऐसा कर सकते हो एक तो. अदर ऑप्शन इज दैट यू लेट दैट पर्सन बी काम, यू स्टे स्टिल, ठीक है, डोंट काउंटर एक्ट ऑन दिस पर्टिकुलर सिचुएशन. दिस इज व्हाट इज रिक्वायर्ड. नाउ बीइंग अ सिविल सर्वेंट, बहुत बार ये चीज आपको काम आएगी. सी, there was this video that went viral a couple of months back. There was a woman who was working in some department or something like that. She did not get her salary credited in many months, and she was visibly misbehaving with a civil servant. ठीक है, अभी देखो क्या होगा. ऐसा है कि that suppose there's a person who has very profound grievance, ठीक है, and the person's grievance is not being heard. Now this person meets you for the first time, आपको पता भी नहीं है कि इनका क्या grievance है, क्या situation है, क्या issue है, but person is so much overwhelmed कि the person comes and started misbehaving with you, started speaking some bad words जो नहीं बोलने चाहिए. A response, you will take it on your own ego कि that कैसे एक आईएएस ऑफिसर से ऐसे बात करिए और आप उसको जेल में डलवा दो, that you are misbehaving, you are obstructing a civil servant in performance of the duty. Legally you can charge that person कि मेरे से कैसे बात कर ली. Another thing is that you step in the shoes of this person and try to just go through that what the person might be going on, and right now it is not the time कि आप अपनी authority और अपनी power reflect करो. आप उसको बोलने दो. Try to understand the grievance that a person is having and try to solve that particular problem. So the third component that we have is empathy. You need to understand the motivation behind other people's emotion. Sometimes the people's emotion might be because out of concern for you. Sometimes the emotions that might be flowing might have nothing to do with you, but they are just flowing because the person has become so much overwhelmed by the emotion that a person is actually seeking help from you. This is the person's way to seek help. So you need not to get angry on that. So this is one thing. Is this thing clear or not? Then fourth step that we have here is intrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation. देखो, if you think being emotionally intelligent, being reasonable all the time, being emotionally wise all the time is going to be easy, then it's not going to be easy. At times, actually, you will get your way. At times, actually, you will get things in your favor just by showing some anger or some emotion. बहुत बार आपका काम बन जाएगा इमोशन और एंगर शो करने से. इज दिस थिंग क्लियर और नॉट? ठीक है, एक एग्जांपल लेते हैं. सपोज you have went some place, you went some place for dining, and there was some waiting, and the manager told you okay that sir it will take some 10-15 minutes, you have to wait. You are just standing there. Though you were standing, a family came, and this family was given a table. In this family there was an old woman, there was one pregnant woman, there was one old person, some children, they were given a table. You'll feel bad. You'll say that I am the one who came earlier, मेरे को टेबल नहीं दे के इनको टेबल दे दिया. ठीक है, logically you know that let's say there was a big table that got empty, and it is logical for that hotel कि वो बड़ी टेबल पे अब एक तो आप अकेले हो और एक पूरी फैमिली है, तो they will give the table to them. आपको कोई छोटी टेबल मिलेगी. Logically you know that, and also you also see that okay the people, the family, they have a pregnant woman, a old person, तो उनको टेबल मिलना चाहिए. But what will happen? You will vent out your anger. आपने वहां पे चिल्लाना स्टार्ट कर दिया, गुस्सा करना स्टार्ट कर दिया. उन्होंने बोला कि आप लोग बाहर जाओ, इनको यहाँ पे बिठाओ. आपका तो काम बन गया ना. You got thing on your own in your own favor. Sometimes actually being emotionally unintelligent is more rewarding to people. ठीक है, कुछ लोग आएंगे, वो बड़ा सीन क्रिएट करेंगे, चिल्लाएंगे और they'll get a favorable treatment. Now you decided to be an emotional intelligent person और आपको समझ में आ रहा है कि यहां तो कोई फायदा ही नहीं हो रहा है, but still you need to maintain the internal motivation to be reasonable and emotionally intelligent, though at times it might not seem fulfilling, it might not seem rewarding to you. Is this thing clear or not? So this is intrinsic motivation that needs to be maintained. And last component that we have here, last component out of these five is interpersonal skills. Interpersonal, including the communication skill. Including communication skills. Listen, देखो क्या होता है ना, some one very important aspect of an emotional intelligent person is that emotionally intelligent person has a set of social skill. Somebody came to you and देखो, somebody came and is telling you some distressing news. So there is a social skill that you have. You need to know, okay, how I should respond. So when a person is sharing, which is very confidential, which is very sensitive to them, what type of words you should use, what type of terminology you should use. For example, कोई आके आपको बहुत बहुत सीरियस बात बता रहा है एंड आप क्या कर रहे हो, यू आर जस्ट स्क्रोलिंग योर मोबाइल फोन. दिस इज नॉट रिक्वायर्ड. समटाइम्स यू नीड टू गिव अ पेप टॉक टू अ पर्सन, उसको मोटिवेट करो. समटाइम्स यू नीड टू जस्ट लिसन. समटाइम्स यू आर नॉट रिक्वायर्ड टू गिव सम एडवाइस. समटाइम्स आपको क्या चाहिए कि बस आप सुनो. इज इट क्लियर और नॉट? There is a different type of behavior that you will showcase when a person is sharing some happy news, different type of a behavior that you will showcase when someone is sharing some sad news. Clear? There will be the different terminologies and vocabularies. देखो actually इंडिया में एक प्रॉब्लम है. ठीक है, क्या प्रॉब्लम है? Often we don't have vocabulary to be used in the times of grief. Actually what happens, suppose you visit someone who has lost a loved one. First question that 99% people are going to ask is that how this incident happened, how this person died. Indirectly, what you're doing, you are forcing this person to again relive that trauma. Yes or no? You're again forcing that person to relive that trauma. ठीक है, अब आप क्यों कर रहे हो? क्योंकि आपको पता ही नहीं है कि यहाँ पे बोलना क्या जाके. इज इट क्लियर और नॉट? ओनली दिस थिंग कि भाई आप भी जाके पूछो कि अच्छा क्या हो गया, कैसे हो गया, क्या नहीं करना था, ये था वो था. दिस पर्सन डज नॉट रिक्वायर इट. ठीक है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल अ पर्सन डाइड बिकॉज ऑफ सम फेटल डिजीज. अब आप जाके बताने लगते हो अरे उस हॉस्पिटल में ले जाना चाहिए था, ये कर देना चाहिए था. आप उसको और गिल्ट दे रहे हो कि दैट मेरे को ये करना चाहिए था और मैंने नहीं करा, तो मे बी मेरी वजह से हुआ ये सब. आर यू गेटिंग इट और नॉट? ठीक है, दिस इज नॉट रिक्वायर्ड. So social skill involves all these particular things. It requires communication skills. It requires that a person should have vocabulary, that a person knows when to use what, when not to use. Vocabulary that you will use in the times of grief, when you will use in the times of happiness, will be different. So this is what is required in a social skill. So an emotionally intelligent person will have these five things. Number one, emotional intelligent person will have a awareness about their own emotions. They know okay, that okay, emotion, understand this thing, emotion is one of the most primitive instinct of a human. You you can never bypass your emotions. Emotions will be there, but you need to know how to manage those emotions. So first you need to know about your emotional responses. B, you need to have some practical skills by which you can manage the emotional outburst. C, you need to have empathy, you need to have an emotional literacy so that you can understand other people's emotional states, what is the motivation behind their emotions and like that. Then what you need to have, you need to have intrinsic motivation to be an emotional intelligent person, irrespective of the fact that whether you are getting appreciated or not, whether you are getting some material benefit or not. And last what we have here, You need to have set of social skills. In social skills, communication skills, verbal communication, non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication is communicating without using the words. ठीक है? For example, when you are interacting with someone, you will nod. Is it clear or not? You will agree, you will disagree. ठीक है? You will look in their eyes. ठीक है? तो that is something which needs to be there. Verbal skills, non-verbal skills. ठीक है? देखो, understand this thing. What is quality of a gentleman and a gentle lady is that when you are interacting with a person, you need to ensure that you make the person realize that he or she is the most important person for me right now.